Good morning, afternoon, evening or night, whenever you're watching this, welcome. A storm named Bella came through and the rivers rose high, and in this place that means there will be new old things to find at this mammoth-old dumpsite. The river hasn't quite gone down yet, it's still about 60 centimetres above its usual level, but I'm wearing waders, not so I can find things in the river. The visibility today is too poor for that, and the currents are still dangerously strong. Instead, they're so that I'll be more easily able to traverse the tricky parts, that today will include the kind of wet clay that loves to eat boots. So, let us see what interesting things the storm might have revealed. First interesting find I spotted whilst walking into the water. It's a large tile with kind of a pentagram and a circle inside, and inside the circle it says, the Peveril. I don't think it's related, but there is a castle called Peveril Castle, one of the major castles built between the Norman conquest of 1066 and the compilation of the Domesday Book in 1086. I'm pretty sure it's got nothing whatsoever to do with that castle, and it's very heavy. So interesting though it is, I'm leaving it. A wing perhaps, and maybe a hint of a dragonish sort of a tail. And is that a button? Pearlescent cabochon, possibly once a button, but missing a shank if so. And a vulcanized rubber bottle stopper. E. Ackroyd, one I found before, quite common here. Not what I thought it might be. Little bit of verdigris. And that's unusual. The verdigris remains of brass or copper ball, about the size of a tennis ball. Now shall I take it? That would also mean taking the block of ash and soil it's firmly attached to. So no, there'll be less attached pieces to take today. Like that. Very corroded, but could once have been a harmonica. Yes, I think that's the most likely. I'm gonna have to reach. It's high up on the banking. I think it's a coin, but nothing made of copper fares well in the ground here. By the weight of it, I'd guess it's a halfpenny, and by it being here, I'd guess it's 1920s to 1940s. Every time a flood rips another chunk out of a hillside, it reveals burrows of small creatures. I hope they were further inland when it happened. Feels like a knife blade, possibly serrated. Quite unusual to find one made of brass or copper. Cupro-nickel is a possibility, although cupro-nickel is supposed to be much better at resisting corrosion. Yeah, not quite as corroded as this thing, which probably doesn't have any viable metal left in it. Looks to have once been a little pulley wheel. I'll take both of them. It does seem quite a simple process to turn such a chunk of verdigris back into near pure copper. Dissolve it in concentrated sulfuric acid to create copper sulfate, filter off the impurities, and then electrolysize the copper out of the copper sulfate onto something it can either be easily separated from, or something that's also near pure copper, like wire. Poison bottle. Broken. Bead. Little glass bead. Beautiful colour. I can't hope to muster the unalloyed delight at finding these that Fleur and Kate of Mudlarking with Kitten Caboodlers exhibit, but their enthusiasm has made me appreciate beads a lot more. Another bead, white one this time, and I found this type before in a little clump of 6, which I took to mean that they were off the same piece of jewellery. Perhaps this is off the same piece, for I found the previous ones 50 metres upstream and 6 or so months ago. Any more hiding hereabouts? A zip pull. Don't find many of these. The bag of a bottle digger. So today I am not the first on the site after the storm. It is, after all, a pleasant day, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if the cliff face gets even more busy before long. But no matter how many people arrive, there'll be more than enough things to find today. The same cannot be said of the beach downstream, which is a pale shadow of its former glory when it comes to the bounty of finds there. Good grief, these waders are noisy. I do hope they prove to be worth it. Really, it's the fact that there's snow on the ground that made me wear them today. I usually end up with a boot full of water when I come here, and the water today is probably about 2 degrees C, 35-ish Fahrenheit. Air that cold is no problem, but water is. It spirits away body heat fast. Here is one of the stretches of sinking clay which grabs and swallows boots, and it's right beneath an overhang, which from this angle looks far more dramatic than it does from a few metres back. I certainly don't think it's a danger today, not like the sinking clay, which is trying to do its thing. The waders are doing their job nicely. I'm not prepared to break this huge chunk apart, but I reckon there'd be interesting things to find in it for whoever did. Nice. Coil of copper wire. Some more verdigris poking out from down here. Mostly plastic, with a tiny amount of wire wound around the top. I'll still take it, clean it, and if it's a recyclable plastic, then put it in for recycling. Now, to get past the fallen trees, I could wade around and be up to my armpits and too close to the central current for comfort, or climb a bit and go around. Nice. Marmalade jar. Might drill a hole in the bottom and use it as a plant pot. Now the bottle diggers are just beyond the trees. I won't film them without their permission, but I will say hi. A friend pointed me in the direction of a video of some people rope climbing down this cliff face for a bit of bottle dump exploration. They didn't know about the paths. I have thought of doing that occasionally. I have the rope, but I also have the climbing experience to know that this cliff face is pretty unstable, and without a climbing partner for it, it'd be dangerous. A few things here that I want. The copper or brass sheet pieces, and over there, a square glass battery. I'll take neither till I know they haven't been claimed by those who got here before me. Roller from a mangle maybe? Not sure. Little bit of brass. The bottle diggers don't mind being filmed as part of the scenery. They're nice people, a father and son team, and they've found a wonderful intact cod bottle with great ornate branding, which proves that there are some here, and I could potentially find one day. I'd like to have permissions for wherever I dig, and I only have one permission so far, for a site that's not likely to reveal much, because it's not a dump site, it's something else. Is that a candle? No, it's glass. Unusual, haven't found a milk glass rod before. Brass clip, not especially special, but it's always nice finding some viable scrap metal. The verdigris colour does stick out amongst all the browns and today's white. Looks like an eye. There's not much left of the brass surround, but I'm guessing this was once a brooch, and it'll be interesting seeing what remains of the original decoration between the brass and the glass. Happy with that. And this, I never find these wheels attached to the original toy. I guess it was a train car made of iron with lead alloy wheels. Perhaps I can reveal the original shape that's still within the amorphous lump. A bell, I think. Whether or not there is any viable metal whatsoever left in this, I don't know, but I shall take it and find out. I swear to you, I'm not just looking for copper and its compounds. It's just what's most obvious to my eye. It is a beautiful colour, and this, I think, was probably a clock. There is no hope of it being that again. That looks interesting. I'm not sure, maybe wallpaper? Or a book cover maybe. I shall take it and try to figure it out. I shall also take the bit of lead down here. This bit of lead out of an old battery, some of the bigger chunks of verdigris for a possible future chemistry video, and that is firmly in the clod, which is firmly frozen into the ground and not really worth the effort. Over here though, little lead figurine. I do enjoy finding these, and one day might make a display of some of the better ones in a typesetter's tray. This one may once have had a bow and arrow, but now looks like he's dancing a tango with an invisible partner. Now for a boring bit of copper harvesting. Some lead, and tiny little thing. I'm not sure if it's a bead, but perhaps part of some jewellery. I'm not sure what material it is either, glass, plastic or coral. I'm curious, so I'll take. A bead for certain this time, lovely blue glass bead. In pretty good condition, I'm happy with that. Another bit of lead, and another, and nothing so far. Something, a fork, I'll take it. And this verdigris thing, this lead, so close to escaping into the river, and this lead over here. How did I miss this? Those early 20th century folk really loved elephants, and so do I. So, very incomplete partial piece of a pachyderm. I think I'll take it. I see a button, hiding. It's a nice button, mother of pearl and in good condition. Quite possibly came into the dump still attached to clothing, so I'll keep my eyes looking for more. Little bottle with, for once, enough of the label remaining to read what it once contained. Shampoo. I found this shape of bottle a fair few times before and wondered, and now I know. Big and oily grindstone. My grandfather had something just like it in a ramshackle workshop behind the house that was falling down by the time I remember it. Almost arts and crafts style. I quite like it. This jar over here, I can see it has a chip, so I won't take it, but it's got a bit of the label remaining. Not quite enough to be sure of. I would take it though, if not for the chip. I like big jars today. Another jar with some of the label. Any parts of non-embossed labels are a rarity here. Still can't read it though. No idea. Again, no idea. Taking them both, start a little pile. Some blue and white. It's a bit curved, but I like it. A bit of lead, like it less. Some more verdigris, and a tiny bottle. I don't know how I'm going to clean the inside of this out, but of course I will take it. And down by my feet, I've just spotted another lead toy. Oh wow. Zulu style of shield, but not Zulu clothing, on a female who's wielding a spear. Could it be an Amazon warrior? This thing, think it's brass, looks at the moment like a miniature of a fire hydrant. Maybe it'll be clearer, cleaned up. Lead. Little glass thing, curious shape. It's the inner glass from an old style of light bulb. Why I didn't recognise it immediately is a mystery. I see them here a lot. Coaster. A bit chipped. Might take it, and might not. There's new arrivals at the cliff face. A spread out group of 3 by the looks of it. And it looks to be 3 generations. I'm sure they'll be nice people. They do, after all, look like mudlarks. I won't film their approach though, till I know if they'd like to be in this video. So for the time being, I'll carry on. A lens. Quite a thick lens, and perhaps a little small for glasses. I shall take it and see if I can come up with a likely origin. I see some legs. Just another broken thing, may once have been a soldier. And I'll be taking that too. What a glorious colour. A nice big jar lid with embossing. It says U.C.B.M. Limited and St. Helens. Nice, not one I found before, and in good condition. I see the first clay pipe ball I've found in what seems like ages. It's not quite plain, though I'm not sure if the slight ridges have any meaning either. Either way, I'll take it. A bit of lead alloy down here. Now, is it a toy or something else? Looks a little but not quite like a toy submarine, and a little but nowhere near really like some of the window latch bits and pieces I've seen over the years. And another less interesting bit of lead. Probably a bit of a metal patch here. Yep, brass, lead, 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 and more lead. I wish I actually enjoyed carrying this heavy metal out of here. A lead wheel. A bit of note glass, which would have been rather tasteless edging to a plate or a bowl. And a spoon. I am ridiculous in how much I enjoy finding cutlery. I do also enjoy finding nice, vibrant aqua-coloured bottles in good all-round condition too. I'll take them. This? Nah. Bit of lead. Glass, I think, but iridescent. And tiny little, so little it's escaping, milk glass bead. I'm going to have to start a bead string like the other mudlarking channels have, and maybe start accumulating the tools to try bead making. The new arrivals are hovering just out of shot, watching me as I self-consciously film. I was recognised, and we've chatted, and they're lovely people. David, the son of the elder mudlark, father of the younger, found this wonderful little lead Scottish bagpipe player, which seems like one of the most unlikely characters a child would work into play scenarios. And I spotted this, bike-riding mailman, which has got to be one of my top 10 lead figurine finds that I have found so far. And Mike, the elder mudlark who I've chatted to before in the comments on my videos, found this wonderful lens, which I promptly dropped into wet clay. So now when I do the obligatory holding high of the beautiful piece of glass to the sky and the sun, if the sun is within sightline, which of course it's not right now, the effect is of glass with mud. Nice lens though, wish I'd found it. While I was chatting with Mike, David went ahead, so from here to the end I will be looking for things that he missed, or things that weren't to his taste. Copper bits and pieces are always to my taste, plastic is not, though it is a duty I've accepted to take it. That's pretty cool. I'm not actually feeling the cold much today, and I think the ambient air temperature is around 0 Celsius, that's 32 Fahrenheit, or 273.15 Kelvin. Don't know why I know that. Some more plastic. I do not expect a karmic reward for plucking out the small bits of plastic that I can manage, but it is often the case that when I do, the places I'm doing that are the same places there's something good waiting to be found. Another strip of plastic, so let's see. That leaf is pretty cool, but a marble, little candy stripe, red and white, good condition, and a simple but pure little joy to find. What else? I do have to be quite picky in what I pick, carrying so much lead as I already am. Another lens. And this one I'm pretty sure is from a pair of spectacles. I don't know if I've got a craft use for it, but it's small enough to take and find out. I'm at the end of a cliff face now, which is by no means the end of a dump site. It stretches a long way upriver, but further inland. It was a tough day exploring the full edge of the site 18 months ago, but perhaps this spring I'll do it again, if the COVID situation allows, and people would like that. For today I'm content to wend my way back, finding things I missed, like this very broken poison bottle, which I think I'm going to take, because who doesn't want a candle made inside glass that proclaims the contents to be poisonous? There is a slight greenish tinge to the glass too. If it doesn't shatter badly when I try to cut it, it could turn out quite nicely. It is always worth looking over ground you've already searched on the way out of a site, and on this site I'll almost always find something I've missed. This I definitely missed, and understandably so. It's tiny, but it's a beauty, with striations in the glass. Reminds me of an unripe red currant. I missed some wire over here too, which I probably discounted as a root the first time, and a bit of nice river glass, unexpectedly smooth around most of the edges, but there's still one little sharp bit, so I'll leave it. This looks interesting. On the face of it, a tile with not a great pattern in not great colours, but let's just get that soil off there, see the crack and the ice that's in there, like the filling in a sandwich, splitting it apart. Got to wonder if, on a day like today, there's any ice doing this behind sections of the cliff face, which I am keeping a respectful distance from, not just because the ground above the high water mark is covered in snow. Don't know how I missed this on the way upstream, a simple unbranded jar. In its simplicity lies its beauty to me, and if it cleans up nicely I shall be happy to keep it and use it to store marbles maybe, or glass bottle stoppers on a windowsill where light can shine through it. Now I just want to wade a bit and see if the current's going to be a problem in getting around some of the people who are still working on the cliff face in spots where I can't easily maintain social distancing. Yes, it's fairly dangerous still. This is the part the bottle diggers were working, and I see they've kindly uncovered some copper or brass things. nice shield-shaped plate, and something that's too far gone, no metal remains. I'm not seeing much else that they've left, and they've done a pretty good job of putting the soil back where it came from. The army of mudlarks who come here will soon stamp it all down again. Now I get to see if the things I spotted coming in have been claimed, and I can already see that the glass battery hasn't been. Looks to be in reasonable condition. I can't spot any cracks or chips, so I think I will take it. And it looks like the brass sheeting is still here, so I'll take that too. Ooh, it has decorations. A diamond within a diamond. I shall try to find a use for keeping that intact. I think there's just about enough light left to go and have a wander downstream, see if the storm has left anything on the formerly bountiful beach, or if the changes in the landscape have reduced the bounty that previously settled there as permanently as I fear. I think that in the short time I've been here, the river level has dropped. Not much, but a few centimetres, and if a river has dropped some of the sediment it was carrying, some things might now be visible. This patch of clay layer is where I've previously found lead toys. Doesn't look like there's any today, but to be able to see that absence means the water is probably clearer. When the path is like this, I can hardly fault anyone for approaching the cliff by a rope from above. They're probably more or less equal in terms of difficulty, though this way isn't exactly dangerous, just tiring. Oop, sorry about that. Nearly there. Interesting. I don't know if it's actually gone, but the back third of the usual beach isn't here today. It might just be still underwater. And the water didn't get quite high enough to entirely cover this bit, which probably means there won't be much to find, and the footprints suggest another visitor who will have taken some things, if it was actually things to take. That does look like a steep drop-off into the river, and interestingly, there's a new island. Well, not exactly new, it's just that the river has cut a channel behind it. Lot of plastic there. Bit of wire. There is one thing that I can always count on finding here. Golf balls from the golf course and the driving range upriver. They're plastic, so I take them. Haven't picked up many bottles today. Let's check this one. Big crack and no branding. I will take the little plastic shotgun shell that was hiding beneath it. The reasons I come to this beach now is not really to find things, but to have a nice relaxing wade, decompressing from the intense concentration of looking for things at the cliff face, and seeing how the water has reshaped the land. This particular beach was amazing the first few times I explored it. The river had dropped so much here. But the river constantly changes course, and though it does still drop some things, is a pale shadow of its former self. Blue and white, but curved piece, and I, for crafts, take flat bits. The surface does look so calm, and I would like to visit the beach on the other side, if I could safely wade across. Nope, the current today is definitely too strong. Oh well. I don't really mind finding nothing here that I really want to take. It just makes me, well, wonder where the river is dropping the things that it used to drop here. I don't think it will be the next beach down on this side. It's too steep. But I think, come spring or summer, I might head even further downstream than I've been before, and bring a glass-bottomed bucket and waders, and maybe an inflatable kayak if I've bought one by then, and see if I can find the river's new favourite spot to drop treasures. Skull of something, but too incomplete for me to take and try to figure out what it was. And a little bottle, which is heavily stained, so it shall stay, and maybe another mudlark will want it. It is confirmed this beach is not the new drop zone, but as usual when the river is high, it will drop a few bottles and jars around about here. William Hartley. Common to find, but uncommon to be in such good condition. The river also usually drops a few things, bottles and the like, at the leading edge of this beach. And it has, but nothing I really want. Not a bad amber bottle, but not particularly special either. And that, I think, is it for today. Since I was stuck behind the road critter, it's no hardship to stop and do a panning shot of the sunset. I have missed the best of it by checking out the second beach, but now I am on the edge of night, and though the camera doesn't handle the dark very well, I do, and I'm going to enjoy watching the moon rise a little before travelling onwards. Roundup time, and hasn't it grown wonderfully, the hobby of mudlarking? When I first started filming, one of the rarest things I found was signs of other mudlarks hunting the same spaces that I was hunting. It is nice, on the occasions that it happens, to meet other people out enjoying the hunt for history, getting to ask what they're looking for, and discussing other locations with good potential. It was very nice to meet Mike, who watches this and several other mudlarking channels, and his son David. I gave directions to Mike to a site he hadn't found yet, and they both told me about another site, which I will try to visit this year if COVID-19 restrictions allow. There is currently a multi-nationwide lockdown in effect in all the countries that make up the UK, which I'm afraid is going to stop me from most of my mudlarking activities for the next 2 months or more. It's not that it's technically illegal for me to go mudlarking. I could argue to the police when they pull me over that it is work that I cannot do from home, and it is also exercise. But what I do has a certain amount of risk and danger built in, and anything dangerous could land me in hospital, and the hospitals cannot cope with what they are currently facing. So it would be irresponsible for me to do more than gentle beachcombing in easily accessible places, or dump exploring in safer places away from the rivers. I know of a few, but they're not places I'm likely to find much. I will do a few outings there, but I will augment that with some walk videos, an unusual bottle dig in a private place, if it's successful that is, some more poetry videos, which I know most of you don't actually watch, but I enjoy making them anyway as I get to work with artists and musicians, and some crafting videos, which I'm still learning how to make well. It's a very different discipline to wandering the rivers with a camera, just pointing it at stuff. I sincerely hope that by the end of the lockdown I haven't alienated you all and done irreparable harm to my channel. Anyway, I had a fun day at the dump site, met some interesting people, and found a fair number of things. I don't particularly like that site for pottery because of the rust staining on almost everything, and that's hard to remove, but I got a few bits good enough to put in the box of pieces for craft work. The pipe bowl turned out to be plain after all. The raised bits which I thought were there turned out to be dried but not baked clay, which washed off easily after a soak. It somehow feels like a more successful mudlark when I find a glass bottle stopper. I like them more than the vulcanized ones. That's not to say I dislike the vulcanized ones. I do like reading up on some of the branding on them, and I have a craft project in mind for when I've got a lot of them. I found a fair number of buttons, including these which are missing the shank, which were probably made of iron and rusted away. This fragment of a pottery elephant seems to have had a hollowed out back, so it might have been a trinket box or a novelty ashtray. It might be a bit far gone for me to resculpt it with milliput, but I do intend to try. 2 glass things came up nicely after cleaning. It's always hard to know before taking it if it will or not. A lot of glass at that site suffers from glass disease, which is an inherent instability in the formula used to make the glass, and in this place it is exacerbated by the conditions. The glass battery case is a case in point, unsightly mottling over much of the surface. I might try sanding off the top layer with fine emery paper and wet and dry. I do like the battery and think it could be a stylish container for a terrarium, if it can be made to look a lot nicer. Quite a project and something for when I have nothing else to do that I fancy doing. I found a surprising amount of jewellery. Modest jewellery certainly, but I really like 2 of the glass beads and this thing, which I'm pretty sure was once a brooch. The brass backing of it crumbled away while I was cleaning it. I think it's shell. I'm not sure of what, but it's been shaped by hand, inside and outside the curve. It looks better when it's wet, so if I were to ever make a new backing for it, I'd look into finding a varnish too that wouldn't damage it. David found these 2 little lead figures, the bagpipe player and what I think is a goat. He gave them to me because lead toys are something I'm collecting with a hope to display them, but I was very pleased to learn that David takes lead out of the sites he visits. It's not something I thought I was entirely alone in doing, but it's good to have a confirmation that there are others removing pollutants too. I really like the motorbike rider and the possibly Amazon warrior woman, and they'll certainly be in any display when I put it together. Metal work is usually in abundance at that site, but this visit the variety was wonderful. There was a coin, too far gone to identify, an incomplete knife, a fork and a spoon, part of a book clasp, a zip made of brass, some Victorian gas pipe and a tap, a lipstick case, a bell, a lot of unidentifiable scraps of brass and copper, some wire, copper pipe and copper sheet with decorations. I'm going to have to get some tin snips to cut that into manageable strips for crafting with, and of course a couple of kilograms of lead, which will one day be recycled. It's quite unlikely that any of the brass or copper pieces are restorable, but they're all recyclable, some are upcyclable, and some I will keep as they are because there is beauty in decay. That is the finds, and the thanks are as follows. As ever, thank you to everyone who's liked, disliked, commented, shared and subscribed. It all helps. A huge thank you to everyone who's donated through Ko-fi. It means so much to me that people want to support me in what I'm doing and what I'm planning and hoping to do. Everything that comes in there gets spent on tools and materials for future videos. All the ad revenue money gets spent that way too. It will be quite a while before I take any money as a wage for myself. The kindness that pours in through my Amazon wishlist too is bringing dreams and ideas closer to fruition. So, a huge thank you to Louise Guerin, who's kindly bought me 3 packs of Das air drying modelling clay and a pack of Super Sculpey, which is a good nudge towards me doing some model making videos. Thank you so much, Louise. The kind lady who bought this chemical fume and particulate mask with replaceable filters, signed the gift note as Anonymous. so I won't reveal her name, but this will help keep my health safe from mostly resin fumes, which are odourless but as potent as spray paint, so thank you so much for your kindness. This selection of sandpaper came without a gift note, so I don't know who it was that kindly bought it, but thank you, whoever you are. This will be very useful. A final thank you is owed for a gift that I wasn't expecting and am a little unprepared for. D. Adams very kindly gifted me with a subscription to the gold level on Ko-fi, which means that I can now, and for the next 12 months, put up content there that I couldn't before, including hidden content for subscribers only if I so wish, take monthly subscription donations like Patreon, have a shop platform if I want. I'm not sure yet what I will put up there. Suggestions are welcome. I was indeed actually planning on getting gold level at some point when I have the craft channel up and running too, but getting it sooner is another good motivating nudge for me to get doing stuff. So thank you, D. Adams. I'm very grateful, and I shall try not to waste the opportunity your kindness has provided. I do hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have and you'd like to, then any way you choose to show appreciation is very much appreciated. The options as previously mentioned are leaving a like, a comment, sharing the video, subscribing. If you subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications of new releases. A further option, never an obligation, is to buy me a hypothetical coffee through Ko-fi or something off my Amazon wishlist, both of which propel me faster towards some other videos that I would like to make. I hope you're all keeping safe and well in these troubling times. Thank you all very much for watching, and for now, goodbye.